Hello, everyone.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Claire. It's nice to see you after all these years.
It's good to see you. I know. You taught me how to do this. It's almost.
Oops.
Uh-oh, you froze, Claire. Uh-oh. Judith, the newsletter just went out this morning. Did you see it?
No, I was on my computer this morning, but this afternoon I did not open it. So,
I see.
but Claire just told me.
I usually ask for a picture of the person. I forgot to ask you. So
Okay.
I went into I found Zoom meetings that you were in, and I captured some pictures, and I hope you are not unhappy with how they were. I actually put 3 different pictures together of you that I think are really cute.
I haven't seen them, but I trust your judgment on your choice.
Oh, good. Well, I don't know if any of you saw the announcement that I put in the announcements forum or the newsletter.
There we go.
Big announcement this week. I put in the feature that I have been talking about for quite a while that allows a person to not produce a pattern that is custom fit for an individual, but instead produce a pattern that is like a normal pattern you would purchase that is in various sizes. And you can determine what sizes you want in the pattern. And I also thought that today I would do a quick run through of the new feature so you can all see what it is. And then when this video goes live, other people can see what it is.
Good.
Now, that said, I could be interrupted at any time because my husband woke up quite sick this morning.
Oh, no.
And he might need my help at some point, but I'm going to try to at least get through this demo and show everyone how the new feature works. And hopefully he will not need me too soon.
Well, you do what you have to do.
Yeah, he's very sick. We might end up anyway. We might end up having to take him to the hospital or something. But
I'm so sorry, Frank.
we gave him a test this morning. He did not test positive for COVID, but I'm not sure I trust those tests. The symptoms seem like they could be COVID. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Anyway, enough about our personal lives here. I really am looking forward to sharing this new feature with all of you and with the world. So let me do a screen share, and I'm just going to show you how it works.
Great.
Can you all see that screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this is the sweaters screen where you see all of your patterns that you are in the process of creating or have created and purchased, and you can download again. This is the screen you come to right after you log in. At the bottom of the screen used to be a button that said create a pattern or create a sweater. That button is now the left one that says now create a custom fit sweater pattern. And there's a new button, designers create a pattern for publication. Now, let me make sure everybody understands the difference between a custom fit pattern and a pattern for publication. A custom fit pattern can have multiple fits. It can be, for instance, loose, standard, tight, oversized, undersized. There's a variety of fits you can choose, and the pattern will create the software will create a pattern that allows all of the fits you choose to be appearing in one pattern, but they all fit one particular person. The neck size is the same for every fit. The shoulder width is the same for every fit. The arm length is the same for every fit. What changes is the circumference of the body and the circumference of the arms to give looser or tighter fits. So that's what the pattern, that's about the pattern that has always been produced and is still available on the website, a custom fit sweater pattern for a particular person. I also added some explanatory notes down here at the bottom that explain what these two notes are and also tell you the price right up front. So let me just read that. It says, if you want to create a sweater that is custom fit to a specific person, possibly with a variety of fits, click the button on the left. The cost is $12 for the first fit, $3 for the second fit, and $1 for each additional fit. If you are a designer who wants to create a pattern to publish in multiple sizes, meaning like small, medium, large, extra large, like a normal pattern that you would purchase somewhere. If you're a designer who wants to create that kind of pattern, click the button on the right. The cost is $8 for each size, and you may create from 3 to 11 sizes in one pattern. So you've all seen patterns that were created for multiple sizes, maybe small, medium, large, extra large, or whatever. And when you want to sell a pattern, that's how you need to do it. You can't sell a custom fit pattern because it's going to fit exactly one person, and that just doesn't work. The different fits don't work for larger and larger people. So if you click this designer's button, I'm going to click it now. It takes you to the designer specifications page with some notes at the top. Important, once you purchase the pattern, it belongs to you and you may modify it however you wish before publishing it as your own design. However, please include the following statement in your published pattern. This is my request. I'm not going to sue anybody if they don't do this. It's just what I'm asking you to do as a favor for me and to help other people learn about this capability. So the statement that I would like you to include is this design uses Phrancko's seamless set-in sleeves architecture, which was generated at Phrancko.com. That statement is already printed in the pattern that you create. So you don't have to come back to this page to copy that text. You'll see that text in the pattern. I just am asking that you either leave it there or move it to another location, but keep it in the pattern so that when you sell the pattern, people will know they can go to Phrancko.com and produce their own pattern using this technique. Then the instructions continue. In the form below, enter the number of sizes you would like to generate for this pattern, and also select whether you want men's, women's, or children's sizes. And it explains that you may generate 3 to 11 sizes in one pattern, but only 5 of them will be filled with suggested values, all of which can be changed however you like. I'll explain what that means. First of all, once you set this number and click continue, it cannot be changed. So be sure you understand what you're doing here when you create this pattern. If I want to create a pattern that has small, medium, large, extra large, and 2XL, that's 5 sizes. And that's in fact the 5 sizes I usually generate patterns for. You don't have to create the sweater in those 5 sizes, but if you, or any other number of sizes, but if you choose to create a pattern in 5 sizes, and you choose and you select one of these 3 radio buttons, which you have to select, you will get preliminary figures for all of the numbers that need to be entered for those sizes. You can change those numbers. You can delete those numbers and put in other numbers. You can delete those sizes and put in other sizes. Everything can be changed, but you're only going to have 5 sizes in your pattern. So I'm going to choose men's sizes. So I want to generate a pattern with 5 sizes, and I want the sizes suitable for men's sizes. You'll see why that's important in a minute. I'm going to click continue. And now it continues just as if you had said you were creating a custom fit sweater. The first thing it asks for is your yarn. So I'm going to enter Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220. And when I hit tab, it's going to fill the rest of the fields because that yarn is already in the database. If it wasn't, I would have to fill out those fields. So I'm going to save the yarn. And now here is where you specify some things about the pattern. In creating a custom fit pattern, one of the drop downs here is who are you creating it for? And that drop down has disappeared, as you see. That's because you're creating it not for a single person. But you still get the choice of crew neck, saddle shoulder, V-neck, or Henley. And the crew neck still gives you 3 different patterns. Let's choose crew neck, a cuff length of 2 inches, a ribbing length of 2 inches. Let's say it's going to be an off-white sweater. That's all we need. And we'll call it, let's see, what shall we call it? Multi-size demo sweater. As you may have noticed, I put this chart in there so you can convert inches, eighths of an inch to decimals in case you need to do that. If you want a cuff length of 2 inches and an eighth, I guess that's all that's relevant there, but it's not as important as it is with the other style of pattern. I'll just say I have a needle size. Of course, I've done my swatch, and I'm going to say my needle stitch count was 22 over 4 inches, and my row count is 28 over 4 inches. And I'm going to create it. Now we get this special new page. Multi-size demo sweater is the name I gave to the sweater. It's a crew neck sweater for publication. The initial values that appear here are merely suggestions. Any values, including the size labels, may be changed however you like within reason. Only a minimal amount of checking is performed when you click the Done button. It's quite possible to leave combinations of values that will not work for the pattern. So make sure any values you change are in fact reasonable. It is possible to create a pattern that the website will not complain about, and you'll get to the pattern and realize there's some flaw in it because you said the neck size was almost as wide as the back width or something like that. I don't know what could happen, but if you say unreasonable things, the pattern will possibly go ahead and try to work. The correct back width, this is so you can check your numbers. The correct back width in any Phrancko pattern is less than that of most other patterns. For a perfect fit, it should be approximately 0.35 times the chest circumference. So whatever value you put for chest circumference, you multiply that times 0.35, and that should give you something close to the number you put under the back width of that size.
Okay.
Likewise, the armhole depth should be approximately 0.57 times the sleeve circ underarm. That is the circumference of the sleeve at the underarm. And there's no way for you to know what a good armhole depth is, except I'm telling you, if you know that the sleeve circumference is 14.5 inches, then a good armhole depth would be 8.25, which is probably close to 0.57 times 14.5. So if you want to change those values, you can change any one of these. You could change, I'll click on the first edit size button next to the small size. And I can change the label to say small instead of S. I could change the circumference to be, say, 35. And let's leave the rest as it is. I'm going to, oh, you get that chart down here for 1/8 of an inch again. That's where you really need it. Now I'm going to save that. And you notice on the left under size labels, where it said S before, it now says small. You could put any size label you want. Maybe you want sizes that are completely non-standard. Like maybe you want to do a supersized set of patterns. So you might call that Super 1, Super 2, Super 3, and so forth. You can put any labels you want. You can put any numbers you want within reason. So I'm going to change the label back because I don't want to change all of them to be full words, but they could be. And I think I changed the chest circumference, so I'm going to change that back. Now, I just wanted you to see that you can actually change anything on this page, and you can make it 5 completely different sizes if you want to. Once you're done here, you click done, and some very minor checks are made to make sure that you didn't do something like create a neck width that's bigger than the back width. Of course, you can't have a neck width that's wider than the back width, so it will stop you at that case. If you left any fields blank, it would stop you. It won't, you can't click done and get past this if you've got those kind of egregious errors. You can still have errors though, as I mentioned. So now this is the page that looks similar to one that we now have when you create a custom fit one, except the sizes for publication field in the center is different. In the custom fit sweater that says sizes for Phrancko or whoever you're knitting the sweater for, and all of the measurements of Phrancko appear underneath that, or whoever you're knitting it for. If you want to change some of those sizes, you click update measurements. It takes you back to that screen that we just left. And just like in the other system, you can also change all the other values. You can change your gauge. You can change your sweater specifications and so forth. I, of course, get to buy all my patterns for $0. Yours will say something like the pattern will cost $8 for each size, and you've chosen 5 sizes. So it's going to be $40 for this pattern.
That makes more sense.
You may wonder why I priced it that way. It's so different than the way for a custom fit sweater. I assume anybody who's doing this is doing it to put it up to either publish in a magazine where they'll get paid for publishing it, or they will sell it online and they will make money off of it. And this is the only money I'm going to make off of it when you purchase the pattern. So if you sell a pattern for, let's say, $6 online, and you've paid $40 for the pattern because it's got 5 sizes, 5 times 8 is 40, then you need to sell 7 of your pattern to start recouping that money. That's not too much if you really want to publish a pattern that is popular, that's really going to sell. Of course, if your pattern doesn't sell, you might lose some money on it, but that's the choice you have to make. So I'm going to submit my $0 payment so you can see the pattern. The pattern looks very much like any other pattern you do in multiple fits. The difference is over here it says men's sizes because we chose men's sizes, not women's sizes. Women's sizes would also say small, medium, large if you don't change the labels, but the numbers would be all different for women. So, and if it was children's sizes, then the construction of the neckline would be a little bit different, but that's something you'll probably never notice. But the sizes are for a child would say, I think 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So that's the big difference. Notice the back width is different for every size. when you do a custom fit sweater for one person, the back width doesn't change across fits. Same with the neck width, same with the sleeve length. So this is a pattern that could be published, except it's my pattern until you modify it and make it yours. Here is the note that I said I want to be included in the pattern when you publish it. Designer note, this design uses, and so forth. I'd appreciate it if you either leave that there or move it to someplace else in the pattern, but make sure it's in the pattern. You can even put it all the way down at the very end if you want to. But I would really appreciate it if you leave that note in somewhere. I think that pretty much covers it. The rest of it is all pretty much the same. There are some things that are unique because it's for multiple sizing, but most of it you would not notice a difference. This just looks like a normal pattern written in 5 sizes, and each number, like here at the cuff, evenly space around 5, 4, 4, 5, and 6 or 6 times. Of course, that reads, of course, depending on the size you're creating. So that's the whole thing.
Oh.
It took me
That's
2
great.
weeks of programming to get that into the website.
It may come as no small surprise to you that I've already been monkeying around with it today.
Why are we not surprised?
Why are we
Because
not
it is not surprising.
And Ron, I also understand, I was starting to watch that video from the TKGA last week about, what was the term they use?
Inclusive sizing.
Inclusive sizing. And I realized I had already put in my 5 default sizes and they were not inclusive. So I'm thinking of creating a couple more sets of sizes that would be inclusive sizing. I did do a test of a pattern and put in a chest size of 70 and an arm circumference of something like 20 or 25. I forget what it was. And it generated a perfect pattern.
Good.
So my pattern generator will address those issues, and I want to start promoting it as
That is worth a newsletter post, I think.
yes. I should have mentioned it in the newsletter, but I was rushing to get it out this morning.
Not everything.
That's
can go in
wonderful,
every
Frank.
newsletter. I do have 2 questions. Well, one's a question and one's a concern,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Oh no, that's what he loves to hear from me. One,
He
so
still
all of
likes you,
the,
Ron.
all of the ease is to be put in the literal measurements, right? The measurements are coming out, the finished garment is coming out as the measurements we put in.
That's exactly right.
I
thought I actually said that in the notes, that no ease is added to these numbers. If I didn't say that, I should go back and put it in, because that's critical in setting those numbers. You're setting the actual numbers of the size of the garment, not the size of any person that you're adding ease to.
And then number 2, as I've been doing my diligent monkeying, I am getting a persistent server error. After I've gone back to sort of, I tried to edit the gauge and went back. And now every time I try and go,
Thank you for telling me. Server errors are clearly an error in the program, and I need to fix it. I already fixed one last night.
What caused it was going back to edit the gauge, and now I can't go forward again.
Oh dear. And did you edit the gauge? Did you change? You did.
And then I put it back, but either way, I can't move forward. I get a server error.
I know where to look for that error, so I'll do that. It will be fixed this afternoon, unless I end up attending to an emergency.
Honored to give you your first bug report on day 1.
No, somebody beat you to it.
Oh, good.
Somebody yesterday told me in Ravelry
Thank
she was
goodness.
getting a server error, and she was very responsive. Wait, I think she's here. Jensine, was that you? You seem to be muted. Are you muted? I'm not hearing you.
Type in the chat.
Oh, your volume is
Very, very
turned
quiet.
way down.
Oh, okay. Let me turn that up. Or I'll talk really loud.
No, you need to turn up your volume. It's really soft. Beside the microphone in the lower left corner, there's an up arrow
Yeah.
that you can click on and then choose audio settings. And that should allow you to turn up your microphone sensitivity.
How's that?
Speak,
A little better.
try. Now I'm not hearing you at all. Do you see the up arrow next to the mute button? I can't hear anything you're saying. You chose audio settings. And under microphone, you turned up the slider all the way to volume input maximum. Can you find what I'm describing? Well, I tell you what, can you either nod or shake your head? It was you.
Yes, that was me.
There we go.
Good.
It was.
It wasn't me this time at all.
You were second, Ron.
That still figures.
But we already fixed one bug. And this was such a massive change, and I tested as much as I could, but I don't have a team of testers on the website.
Right.
So things sneak in when you do a massive change. And Jensine, do we call you Jensine? Nod if you, yes, Jensine. And she wrote me on Ravelry, and I was so grateful she responded immediately when I responded, and we had a back and forth that was absolutely essential for me to get to the problem and find out what it was and fix it. So I may have to do that with you too, Ron. After.
Sure. And I'll continue starting over again and pushing every button I can find.
I would appreciate that. Break it.
I'm really excited to use it too.
Do you have a design idea?
Just like hundreds.
Hundreds. I keep
Yes.
hoping I'll get one.
One idea.
Oh, God.
Oh no, I have a Cambrian explosion of ideas. The problem is,
Time.
getting them
Of course,
down.
Ron, you know that you were one of the two people I mentioned in the newsletter, not by name, but I said a couple of designers have asked to be able to publish patterns, and that prompted me to make this live for everybody to use.
I love
So
it. I was
We
very
can
excited.
thank Ron for that suggestion.
I was just looking forward to reading all about Judith, and then there we were.
Yes,
Where is Judith, the star of the day?
Judith is here.
there she is.
Il y a Judith.
Bonjour. Bonjour, Ron.
Comment ça va?
Ça va bien. Toi-même?
Bien, 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 bien.
What did you all think of the pictures I selected of Judith? Any of you who saw
They were
them?
very nice.
You were great.
Yeah,
Were they
They were
fun?
good.
I think I chose some fun pictures. I hope you're not horrified. I chose pictures of you laughing and smiling, and one with you throwing your head back laughing.
And the dress is just amazing looking at it
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I
Oh.
put all of
The
the pictures
dress
you
is
sent me into the
fantastic.
website. I'm into the
Wow.
newsletter.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us and letting me present you and your work to the world. Because it literally it goes all over the world. It's amazing to me.
Mhm.
It was a great adventure and more to come.
Yes. I think when Jenny was the featured one, she expected people were going to start stopping her on the street, but that never happened, did it, Jenny?
No, nobody has, no.
No autographed asked.
No,
Nobody
nobody's
asked
asked
for an
for autograph. Several
Yes.
people when I've been walking have said they like the sweater, but none of them are obviously on Ravelry or anything like that. So
Yes. This is not exactly your 15 minutes of fame. It's more like your 2 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask if you guys can hear me now?
Yes, we
Oh, that's
can.
better.
Yes, we can.
Yay, thank you.
What did you fix?
I had to go into my audio settings. I had it set up for an external microphone instead of the internal one on my laptop.
Oh, and that fixed it.
And
Yeah,
that seemed to have fixed it.
you are as understandable as anybody else.
Oh, great.
And
Well, I can't
it's
thank
wonderful
you
having you join us.
for fixing that for me. It was so frustrating, and you got right on it and fixed it.
Oh, I was horrified. I couldn't reproduce the problem. And I asked 2 other people, including Cindy here, Cindy Dupont.
Yeah, and I was doing it on both my computers, and it's kind of like I'm doing it on a Mac, I'm doing it on a PC. It's not doing it. I don't know what's going on.
I know,
I
it's
did it
like,
on my
how do I
laptop, my
fix a
phone.
problem if I can't find it, if I can't see it? So the only way to see it was for you to give me your username and password, because I don't have the passwords. I can't log into anybody's account. And you let me log into your account, and then I saw this problem and immediately knew what the problem was. And so it just took a few minutes to fix it once I found the problem. So I hope Ron's is that easy as well.
Is it like changing a line?
Yes, it was exactly
Yeah.
changing one line in one obscure file. It happened to be the help file, the file that comes up only for new users.
Oh,
And that's why it only affected brand new users who had no sweater patterns created yet.
Will it help you to know what numbers I'm looking at here?
It might.
You want to jot them down, or you can send me a message after the,
Okay.
whichever is best for you, unless you want a permanent record of them in the video.
We will work it out.
Sure.
I have
I'll
a
keep you waiting.
Kitchener bind-off question, if I might.
I'm sorry, you have a what?
The Kitchener bind-off
Oh,
question.
yes.
Okay. So the sweater that I finished the bulk of the body last week, right?
Mhm.
I did have to take out the Kitchener bind-off because of my measurements. I needed to measure this longer. God knows why I made myself shorter. But so I was able to then reknit it the right length, and now I'm going to have to start the bind off. When I was doing the bind off, it got a little scallopy on the edge. It wasn't as springy. Is that because the bind off's too tight, too loose?
It sounds like it might have been too tight. Each time I complete a stitch, I pull the ribbing apart a little bit to make it stretch across the distance it needs to stretch across.
Okay.
And I do the next stitch, pull it all through. and then do this, the little tug again.
That makes sense. I did my linen cotton sweater. Did not have to do that because linen cotton doesn't stick. This is
Oh.
Shetland, so it's
I see.
sticky.
Yes.
So that
So
makes
once you
sense.
pulled it through too tight, it stayed tight. That's what it sounds
I
like.
think so, right. Doesn't have any, there's no, once it grabs, it grabs. you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah, and crazy, like this is my third one, but this is my first one in Shetland.
I see.
The Rowan tweed is felted tweed, but it's very smooth, very soft, like it's a mohair. It's really
Oh.
forgiving yarn. It's great. My whole stash could be Rowan tweed. I love it.
You're enjoying the camper, if you don't mind me asking on the video? The camper yarn?
Oh, yes. Oh, that's the Star Trek hat.
Yeah.
I had to take a break and start. It's so nice. Very soft.
Yeah, I love it. For people who like woolly wools,
Why?
this is Kelborn Woolen's camper he's using. It's a
Yeah.
heathered fingering weight woolen yarn, and it's just gorgeous in the hand. It's beautiful.
Good to know. Thanks. Camper. Okay.
It also
Thanks.
comes in a DK weight called Scout, and it's a 2-ply and woolen. It's very good for color work, and it's very good for lace because of that 2-ply. It opens up. It's gorgeous.
Oh, in
Love
DK?
it. I recommend it all the time.
Love the feel. I'll be buying some DK.
Good. I'll be
Yeah.
here.
Love the feel. Thank you. I got my package in like 2 days.
Good. It's so hard to tell these days.
And you're in Bakersfield.
Yeah, I'm in
You
California.
can't get any more east than me. You're in the ocean.
Yeah.
Um,
You can get slightly more west than me before the ocean, but not by much.
yeah. No, I have about 10 miles and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. So you like woolly yarns, then?
I really do. Look at the one I have on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, I don't know why. It's just,
It's a bit cold up there in Canada today, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, all right. Canada was like 19 below this morning.
Oh, geez. I'm
Right.
10 degrees, 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, so do I. I have 24 inches out here today.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped yet.
Oh, that's right. You're in Long Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine hasn't stopped either.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Who is someone in Canada?
Judith.
Yes.
Judith is
Yeah.
in Canada.
Oh, where
It's
are you in
cold.
Canada?
Montreal.
In Montreal. Yeah. Montreal.
Oh, my family's from
Montreal.
Rimouski.
Oh, yeah. About
Yeah.
6-7 hours.
Yes,
drive
a
from
long
here.
ride. I've done
But
it.
it's very nice. It's
Yes.
a nice.
I
region.
was there in November 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago, because of COVID. Yeah, 3 years ago.
Before
Yeah.
COVID.
I just love it. But of course, I mean, that's where my whole family's from. So
Oh, good to know. And it's
So
freezing
the
here.
two brand new people here today are Jensine and also Claire. And Claire is also from Bakersfield.
well,
I'm going to spotlight you, Claire.
Claire Christians are live and breathe.
Hi, Claire.
There she is.
Claire.
Well, you need to know
Claire's gonna
about
fit
Claire.
right
She's
in.
a
She has
very
good
normal
sense of
person.
humor.
Beg your pardon.
She has very normal behaviors and interests.
So Claire, can you show us what you're working on? Have you gotten started?
I'm not working on anything. I've been in a dry spell for about 2.5 years.
Oh,
So this Phrancko sweater, I'm going to do it, is going to be the first thing I've made in a long time. And I made my swatches. I just
Good, good.
printed out it's funny, Frank, I printed out my pattern last night. So the way you showed it today is the only way I've seen it for 2.5 years since you last showed me. So, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I did have a server error when I clicked on the help screen, but beyond that, it worked fine.
That was the error. Yes, the help screen was causing an error.
Yeah.
And when a new user doesn't have any patterns created, they see the help screen when they log in. And that meant that Jensine was hitting that every time she tried to log in.
Okay.
So that
So-
one's fixed.
What are you using, Claire? What have you swatched up? What is it? Tell me all
Oh,
about your Phrancko.
it is Louette gems. Here it is. Oh, golly. Louette gems in a color called straw is a light fingering weight.
Yeah.
And I've already printed out the pattern, but I might switch and do this alpaca, which is one of Creative Views yarns that I bought when he came out to Bakersfield a long
That was
time
many
ago.
years ago. Yeah.
Did that show? Yeah. So,
Probably 4 years ago now.
right. Because, so as I was sitting here, I thought, okay, I got to be knitting on something. Hands going, and so I grabbed this, and so I might switch it and do the Phrancko in this instead.
Well, I'll tell you what I tell people, my favorite people who come to this meeting, which now includes you. If you come to this meeting and you do something like decide your pattern was not the right gauge and you want to correct the gauge, I don't make you buy a new pattern. You tell me what gauge you want to do it in, and I will go behind the scenes and correct your sweater to use that gauge.
Oh
So,
my, you're too generous, Frank.
Yeah. Well.
Thank you very much, but I'm going to make the other one too. So,
oh, okay. If you want both patterns, then I guess I'm gonna let you
yeah,
buy
I'm
both
just going to
patterns.
leave them on there. They're all yarns that I love, and you know, I just have that as backup.
If you hit any sticky sections, just drop by. Heaven knows I've made enough of these at this point.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Yeah. Ron and I live in Bakersfield, where we are able to wear some of our finest works because of the just doesn't get cold enough.
Speaking of Frank being too generous, Tim, who is behind me here, my other shop guy, who's been listening in on these meetings for like forever. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hi, Tim.
When you mentioned the new price and said, okay, so this is $10 plus or $12, he looked up and went, $12? It's just $12?
I know. I'm thinking the same.
Someone who's been sitting and listening to these meetings for 6 months at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you have it. So this maybe it's just a post introductory price.
I see. Maybe. I was happy to find out that people still bought the pattern after I raised the price a couple of weeks ago. I thought, well, I've sold the last pattern now. I raised the price and nobody's going to buy it.
But I tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if you bought more. You know,
Yeah.
if you sold more of them.
So to some people, 12 still seems surprisingly inexpensive.
Yeah. Has anyone steeked one of the sweaters?
I have indeed.
Did you do a cardigan out of it when you were done? Yeah.
Did I do what now?
So what, so I want to make a cardigan
Mhm.
and I don't want to go back and forth.
Mm-mm.
So I think I want to steek it.
Here, let me grab it.
But I don't necessarily want, so I think I want to steek the V-neck. So it's more like a traditional cardigan,
Uh-huh.
right? So not the tab collar.
There it is.
Yes.
There you go.
It's got
Okay.
steeked.
Okay,
So it's stranded from here down.
nice.
Did the whole thing in the round and then cut it. Paid no attention to the terrible button band. The buttons are held on by loops of thread and stitch markers right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I steeked it quite successfully, and particularly with your penchant for using stitch markers, woolly yarns. I can't imagine you'll have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, you could steek and leave it
Yeah.
on the table. You don't even have to pin it. It's
Yep.
if you
So,
steek it.
yeah, it was what this was actually this was probably only my second Phrancko, I think. It's hard to remember back to the beginning of last year. But
Was
yeah,
it your second or third?
yeah, one of the very first
Yeah.
things I did was cut one open.
That pattern's beautiful.
It
Yeah.
is really
It's
pretty.
gorgeous.
I
The
love
color is really nice, wouldn't you agree, Cindy?
I do. Oh, yes, our favorite color, Judith.
It reminds me of marbled paper.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It does.
This
Paper
stitch
marbling.
pattern.
Yeah.
It was just from one of the Starmore stitch dictionaries. Color work patterns.
Very nice.
Fun.
I have some, it's a very fine DK, Cloudborne wool in my stash that I'm gonna throw a cardigan together. I think I want to steek it though.
Yeah.
So Frank, oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question? Claire, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, my question might not be too quick.
Take your time.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate right here. What's to stop someone from just using all the yarn in their stash to make swatches, punch those numbers in and create patterns with a single yarn and claim it as their design when it's really yours?
I count on people having more integrity than that.
Okay, well.
I
Like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yes.
Because I thought, I wonder if I could do this with my Aran sweater, because I love the sweater that I created. I don't think I could make it as a Phrancko sweater, but it would be really cool if I could turn it into a design using the software.
Yeah. It did occur to me that somebody could create a sweater in 5 patterns, just take the patterns as I put them, not make any changes to the pattern, remove the statement saying where they got it from, and then sell it and say, oh, I've got this plain sweater pattern that uses this sweater technique. And I know somebody could claim it, but
Well,
I think,
like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate, something to which I'm sure you've thought about.
Well, the
yeah,
other thing you run into.
I just can't be too worried about people cheating like that. And
Mm.
if I were dependent on this for my livelihood, maybe I'd be more possessive of it. But I just can't be bothered to try to be the world's policeman like that.
Yeah.
And
But
also you
really,
have the
Frank,
explanation of how
that's
things
very
work.
generous of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so ingenious, the whole thing about the software. I just
Yeah.
love it, the concept. And I don't know, what do you patent that or what? So
Yeah, it turns out you can't patent software.
Yeah.
oh,
Nor
wow,
can you patent the design of a sweater or
you can't. No.
copyright. No, the only thing that you can protect, at least here, is the literal actual words that you use in that specific order and any photographs that you've made.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's like you can't copyright spaghetti, even if you have your own family recipe for it. It's spaghetti. Anyone can make it.
Yeah.
Like, once they have your recipe, they can reproduce it because you don't own onions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me also say hi to Emily. I think it's been a while since we've seen you, right?
Yeah, I just, this is a hard time for me to make it. So it worked out okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, nice to check in. I'm not, sort of been doing lots of little baby stuff. But I ordered yarn to do the sweater for my son. I ordered just a crew neck. And so they didn't have the yarn in stock. So I'm waiting for that. I'll keep you posted.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
It turns out I'm now going to have to leave just a few minutes early. So I think we're so close to an hour. Maybe we should just all say goodbye.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
All right.
And it's
Right.
really wonderful to see you all again and have new people arrive and join us. And it's just great to see your faces and
Yeah, it's good to
spend
see you,
time
Frank.
together.
Yes.
Okay, I wish you and Andrea
Thanks,
well. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
very
Yeah,
much.
definitely.
Yeah, good luck.
well,
Yes.
Yep.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.